Hurricanes, Goliaths, and politics are just some of the topics that graced the simulation world this week. Hi there, folks. My name is NovaWrap24, and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for all your simulation release news and goings-on from the week that was. So here we are on May the 5th, 2024, and may you be wary of the revenge of the Sith as we kick off the flight simulation news for the week with the release of a interesting aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that comes to us from the team over at Red Wing Simulations with the release of their Farman F-60 Goliath aircraft. So this is a interesting looking aircraft, to be sure. I suppose in some ways classic from the era and very much fitting with the theme of the team over at Red Wing of late. So the Farman Goliath F-60 was the first purpose-built custom commercial aircraft for the airliner for the world. It was based on the original F-50 bomber that was developed for the First World War but never saw service, and the team saw an opportunity to be able to pivot with the ensuing peace from the war that was supposed to end all wars, to produce to leverage this new technology and produce a airliner that could carry people in comfort and take mail quickly across the world. So that it is a 1920s aircraft, a vintage aircraft, and very much has a interesting design to it, particularly the front end. And you can see why in some ways many of these early large aircraft were thought of as ships of the sky. So this aircraft was designed to carry 12 passengers and carry mail or freight in various different either passenger or freight versions, both of which are included as options in this release. You get full high definition textures throughout with a custom high definition 3D model. And it says all systems are functional, which is interesting because the systems are going to be fairly basic given the fact that, it is a 1920s aeroplane. But anyway, it also includes both French and English voices for the pilot and the mechanics, as well as the first generation of kneeboards, given that you've got an old paper clipboard style rather than your modern electronic flight bag that we might all be used to be able to load passengers, do cargo, fuel, repair, management, damage analysis, and various other features of the aircraft. Includes a custom effects system, including custom smoke, particle effects, and 3D animations for various damages, mixtures, and breakdowns of the aircraft. So apparently it's great to see more developers taking on board this idea of bringing your aircraft to life and actually encouraging you to, fly it like an airplane if you so desire. If you don't, that's cool, but you can take care of your aircraft into the future. It provides both French and English translations of all instruments and internal elements, as well as options of changing different categories of units, because the French aviation back in those days used scientific standard instrumentations, scientific standard units. But if you're more comfortable with the more traditional aviation units, you can, of course, change those as well. Now, if you wanted to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $30 or your original equivalent, available now from SimMarket. Continuing on with another aircraft release for Microsoft Flight Simulator this week, the team over at Aeroplane Heaven have been busy once again, with this week releasing their rendition of the Hawker Hurricane Mark 1. Now, the Hurricane has always been a understated aircraft, I feel. It loses a lot of the limelight to the Spitfire, but the Hurricane was produced in greater numbers and was absolutely the reason why the British won the Battle of Britain. Although the Spitfire got all the glory, because quite frankly, it is very much the prettier of the two aeroplanes, the Hurricane was the stalwart that actually held the line. Now, this provides us the Hawker Hurricane Mark 1, which was produced in its thousands and was very successful in its initial role as an air superiority fighter, but in its later life would find a home as a ground attack and a multi-role aircraft. Now, this particular rendition gives us, not only does it give us the base Hawker Hurricane Mark 1, it also gives us a couple of different variations of that, all included in the one package, which includes the early tropicalization of Hurricane Mark 1s to serve in the desert and in the Far East through the use of the Vokes filter, but it also includes the Sea Hurricane Mark 1 as well, which is basically a Hurricane with an hook, an Hurricane with an hook. So it provides the opportunity for it to be able to do arrested carrier landings as well as catapult takeoffs. Now, I'm not sure how the catapult takeoff system has been implemented or not. I don't know. We've got a few World War II carriers in the sim, but not many with catapult systems. So not sure how that works, but it definitely has a fully functional hook in the system. So So we get a high-definition 3D model, as we come to be expected from the team over at Airplane Heaven, with high-quality textures, including 14 authentic liveries included, along with a couple of blank liveries for repainters to be able to create new content. Includes custom unique animations, a custom model of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, so you can take the cover off and you can inspect the beauty of the V12 Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Includes custom sound set recorded from a real Merlin engine. As well as the various different animations and custom features, including a custom RAF fuel truck and air starting system. So again, great to see the team doing some great little extra details for this aircraft and bringing it very much to life. Now, if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up, add this one to your collection for $29 or your original equivalent, available now from Airplane Heaven. Moving on to another aircraft release this week, and I'm not going to lie, I did a double take when I saw this release here. I was questioning what I was seeing, that is for sure. So this comes to us from a new developer, Simpunk, with a release of their Lift Aircraft Hexa VTOL drone. Oh boy. Okay, so when I first saw this, I was like, okay, what the actual? I was thinking, what is this concept thing doing in MSFS, and why are we charging, $22 for it? Turns out, apologies for that, this is actually real. This actually flies and actually exists. This is a real aircraft. Calling it a drone, I'm not 100% sure on, because reading through the real aircraft's description, it looks like it is basically more classified in the ultralight aircraft category or microlight aircraft category, where you don't technically need, and in that category, you don't actually need a full pilot's license to fly it. You essentially just need a driver's license with a certain number of hours of instruction. So that's interesting. They're offering it as experience flights in real life at various locations around the US, with the aim of making this more available to more people into the future. What I can sort of assess, though, where the drone sort of comes into is it may have some form of remote or return to base sort of functionality in it. So I suppose that's where the drone comes into it, but I don't have enough information about it. But either way, it looks basically like the I was about to say ornithopter, but it wasn't the ornithopter. The thing that we got, the eVTOL that we got as part of the was it the 40th anniversary edition update? And it was it's interesting. With that, and it's an all-electric craft with the 12 independent electric engines, all powered in the overhead rotor unit. It is fully amphibious. It can land on land or water, so it's a really interesting cockpit. It's a really interesting concept, and as I said, it actually flies in real life, which actually surprised me. So yeah, it looks interesting. I definitely got to say it's not for me, but it might be for you. And quite frankly, as I said, although I did my double take at the start, I'm actually kind of happy to see this in the sim. I question the price tag, though. That seems a little on the high side, but that's just my opinion. But if you do want to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $22 or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix. Continuing on with Microsoft Flight Simulator releases now into scenery. Now, the team over at Vertical Sims released their latest airport with the release of St. Petersburg Clearwater International Airport. So this is a international airport servicing both civilian services, but also is home to a US Coast Guard station. It's the main base for Allegiant Airlines in the region. It comes to us with a high detailed rendition of the airport with accurate airport layout as it appears at the start of 2024, with custom aerial imagery, all airport buildings modelled, a variety of custom static models including Coast Guard C-130s and Jayhawks, custom taxiway signage, obstruction lights, guard lights, etc., all based off real-world research. Includes custom GSX profile, as well as a number of features outside the airport perimeter, including a custom bayside bridge model. Now, if you wanted to add this one, pick this one up, add this one to your collection, you pick this one up for $17 or your original equivalent, available now from Vertical Sims. In another airport release for Microsoft Flight Simulator, this time from the team over at AnyBuilds, they've released a free product as a gift to the community. They've released their rendition of Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport, which is a bustling airport in Wisconsin and the Midwest, in the US Midwest. Comes to us with the usual high quality that we see from AnyBuilds, with custom handmade ground textures, custom true-to-life airport layouts with custom ground side decals, signposts, vegetation, parking barriers, etc. Custom airport layout as it appears at the end of 2023 with all airport buildings models. Includes an official GSX profile as well, which is becoming a pretty standard feature, actually, I think, in anything that's serviced by the larger airliners. Includes custom static aircraft models and custom traffic signage. As I said, this is available for free from the team over at AnyBuilds, available now. Rounding out the Microsoft Flight Simulator releases, one of the possibly sorely, and most anticipated releases coming from the team over at Parallel 42, released their latest package for Microsoft Flight Simulator with the release of SimFX. So SimFX it's not the camera utility that I think everybody is actually waiting for, but this is something that Parallel 42 basically started out doing, which is doing effects packages for aircraft and for sims in the past. And they are very, very known for it, and it is great to see them applying this technology now to Microsoft Flight Simulator. You get a whole stack of improvements. Like, there is an insane amount of content coming through with this release. You get extended contrails, so you get contrails through and applying to not only your aircraft but also to multiplayer, and look, how fluffy they are, how long they are, and things like that. You also get revamped engine heat blur from the default effect that Asobo uses. Again, you can customize how large and how small and what that looks like. It introduces APU heat blur as well for the auxiliary engines that are featured in many larger aircraft. You get engine blast on soft and wet surfaces, so you actually see particles being kicked up off runways, off surfaces as you're taking off or landing. And that extends also out to wing wash and rotor wash. So our helicopter family members have not been forgotten. They've not been left out. You actually get to see the circular wave of debris being kicked up as you land your helicopter, and the shots that they've used look pretty damn cool. For those using aircraft with thrust reversers, you also get different thrust effects as well, including effects on the ground surface as well. So if you're landing on a wet runway, not only do you see the reverser pattern picking up from the engines, but also from how your tires they kick up there. And speaking of tires, yes, you get tire smoke. Yes, you do get tire smoke with this add-on. it's a running joke with the Three Grumpy Simmers. But now, if you've been missing your tire smoke effects, this product answers your prayers. You do get your tire smoke. One of the coolest add-ons, I think, for me, the parts of this add-on that I think I've seen so far is the engine pollution component. So for older aircraft, particularly older jet-engined aircraft, such as things like the AN225, you get to see just how dirty their engines actually are. So you got they call it their engine pollution effect. You can apply that. So it's a small thing, but I'm so glad they included that. Something else to include as well, we talked briefly about the sort of dirt effects. When you're landing and taking off from that, you see the wheel tracks coming through there. You see the power effects of your engines kicking up debris. You also get that same effect on water as well. So whether you're taxiing or landing or taking off your amphibian or seaplane from the water, you also get the same effect with your helicopter over that as well. So there is a absolute stack of content coming through in this release. As an added bonus, they've also given a real-time animated auroras for the North and South Pole with this add-on from Parallel 42 and shooting stars. So there is an absolute insane amount of content that is being provided in this release from the team over at Parallel 42. Parallel 42 always going above and beyond, but I think this particular add-on is going above and beyond their normal above and beyond. Like, this is insane. I think this is awesome. I cannot wait to pick this up. You can pick this up directly from Parallel 42 for $25 US, which is an absolute bargain for what it's providing you for your sim experience. Available now from Parallel 42. Moving out of the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator, moving into the world of X-Plane now, the team over at Boundless have released their latest airport for both X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12 with the release of North Weald Airport in the southeast of England. So North Weald is an incredibly historic airport in the UK, serving for being one of the oldest airports in the UK, serving as an RAF station, an important RAF station during the Battle of Britain and throughout the Second World War. It's now got a second lease on life as a GA airfield, as a very, very popular GA airfield as well. So this provides custom up-to-date ortho imagery with all airport buildings modelled, 4K textures used throughout, customised 3D vegetation and grass, with custom night lighting and various real-world clutter objects dotted throughout the scenery. Now, if you want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now from Boundless. Moving out of the world of X-Plane now and moving into the world of DCS, the team over at Orbix have finally released into early access their long-awaited Kola Peninsula DCS map. So DCS maps are an interesting breed, and pretty much traditionally with a couple of exceptions, we've pretty much seen a lot of desert maps. We other than the default Georgian map and the Normandy map, we really don't see anything other than desert. So it's really interesting to see a non-desert map come out, and the Kola Peninsula is a fascinating place to be able to set one. So this covers a huge amount of area of Scandinavia, covering Norway, Finland, Sweden, and going into Russia. Includes a number of highly detailed locations centering around 2 airports in Finland, 2 main airports, and 2 road and highway strips, as well as 6 airports in Russia. Along with each of these areas includes their urban and rural surroundings, infrastructure, number of civilian points of interest, as well as providing 2 additional airports in Norway and 3 in Sweden that are fully functional but not fully detailed at this early access launch. It said it includes a complete base terrain for the entire map area with highly detailed topography, summer only textures at the moment, custom shorelines, lakes and rivers. You get the 2 road runways along with the 2 main airports in Finland, 5 in Russia, plus the additional 5 airports, 2 in Norway, 3 in Sweden for low fidelity airports, or the medium fidelity airports, we'll call those one. A number of significant civilian POIs, including bridges, vertical obstructions, towns, villages, open pit mines, etc. All the vector data has been put in there as well, and has been and they noted here as well that they are collaborating with the teams over at Baltic Dragon and Reflected Simulations to create some campaigns specifically for the Kola map. So this is going to be absolutely fascinating to see what kind of new content is going to be released for this part of the world once it gets once it's been available for a little bit longer. Now, this is available in a few different places, so a couple of things to stress here about this one. You can get this one, so for the P4 non-Steam users, you can pick this up directly from Orbix. So currently it is on a early access 20% discount, bringing it down to $56 at the moment. But that, of course, as I said, that isn't the early access savings. Now, if you are in the Steam version, however, you must purchase it through the Steam store. You cannot purchase the version through Orbix directly. It must be purchased through Steam. So just a buyer beware thing to be aware of. But as I said, if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $56 or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix. Moving out of the world of flight simulation now and moving into the world of trains. So the team over at Dovetail have released a few different add-ons for a couple of their train simulators this week. So firstly, from developer RSSLO, we see a new route for the original Train Simulator Classic with the release of the Payerbach Wien route in Austria. So it includes 28 stations along a 85 kilometres of rail route from Payerbach to Wien. Includes authentic landscapes and scenery, custom realistic signalling and track signage, along with a custom version of the OBB 11116 electric locomotive. Includes a number of pieces of rolling stock, including both passenger and freight models, along with 5 career scenarios. If you wanted to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $30 or original equivalent, available now on Steam. In the other train-related release this week, the team over at Dovetail Games re-released, well, I'm going to call this a re-release, I think might be a better way of describing this, their LIRR Commuter, New York, Long Beach, Hempstead, and Hicksville route add-on for Train Sim World 4. So this is essentially a reboot of the route add-on they had for Train Sim World 1, but now available for Train Sim World 4. It comprises the sort of the America's busiest commuter railroad in New York, which is officially licensed from MTA agency in that area, covers 57 route miles from the western end of the Long Island Railroad, includes a number of iconic places, including New York Penn Station, Atlantic City Terminal, and a few others. Includes 2 EMUs, the LIRR M9 and M7 NUs, driving cabs, rolling stock, all the usual fun stuff. Basically, this is an update. So it's had a graphical update. They've cleaned up the graphics. They've improved a lot of things, but the community has not reacted well to this release. So this is a $40 release here, with I believe a 10% discount if you previously owned this for Train Sim World 1. What's interesting though is that, and it's really interesting because it stands out here, even in the about page of the product, is that it says here that we've been working closely with the licensor to bring you an immersive but safe representation of the route. This means there are a few adjustments to the experience, including the safety system being always enabled. To learn about the LIR systems, please refer to the manual to get started. Okay, TLDR, what they've done is they've hard-coded that all the safety systems are always on. So it's not part of the startup procedure of the trains anymore to enable those or to troubleshoot failures of those. They will always work, which I have mixed feelings about. On one level, I get it, especially from a licensing point of view. They don't want to have images of crashed trains happening in New York on New York railroad routes on something that they've licensed. I get it. But at the same time, this is a sim, and to walk this back from when those features were available previously in the previous version, and now those options are being turned off, it kind of removes some of the challenge of actually, driving in a train simulator. So it's a tough one, but at the end of the day, in order to have my guess is, and my supposition is that Dovetail have done the best they can within the updated licensing terms that MTA have basically said, either take this or you can't use any of our signage anymore. So it's a tough line to walk. I understand the community backlash from this, but there's always more than one side of the story. So I'm not saying that what Dovetail Games are doing are right, but at the same time, they may not be in a position where they can say no. So yeah, something to be aware of. Either way, only offering a 10% discount for what's basically a graphical update and a simulation walkback seems a little bit rough for those who owned it previously. But anyway, I'll let you guys make your own decision. As I said, if you want to pick this one up and add this one to your Train Sim World 4 collection, you pick this one up for $40 or original equivalent, available now on Steam. Moving from the bustling metropolis to the rural idyllic lifestyle now, the team over at Giant Software have released their latest DLC for Farming Simulator 2022 with the release of their Farm Production Pack, and oh boy, is the community pissed about this. Okay, so Farm Production Pack, at first pass, I mean, as I said, I haven't played Farming Simulator in God knows how many years, but includes 20 new items, including new selling points, production equipment, storage options, renewable power generations, and other economic models, such as, you can do cleaning services, like you can offer service, you can be a service company and offer to, clean produce or clean solar panels and stuff like that to earn money in a different way. You get your own distribution center and a few other things. So at first pass, to me, it looks like a pretty cool add-on. But reading through the user comments, and oh boy, um, Farming Sim is known for the strength of its modding community. It's one of the things that makes the Farming Simulator series, much like the original Kerbal Space Program, such a great game to play. Was the strength and the quality of the modding community. And I remember back when I did play Farming Simulator, the modding community would do some amazing work. The DLC is being basically. This DLC is basically being said there are a bunch of mods that do what this DLC does better, and the mods are free. And most of the stuff in the DLC, apparently a large amount of the stuff in the DLC doesn't work. So take this under advisement if you are looking at picking this up. If you have got this and have your opinions, please let me know in the comments down below. Like, I would love to know your thoughts. It's been way too long since I played Farming Simulator, so I can't really comment too much on the current status of it. But there you go. If you are going to get it though, you are going to be looking at paying $8 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the NovaWrap for this week with a title that is very apt given the fact of where I am living now. So this is the release of the Political Machine 2024, which is the third in the Political Machine series from Stardog Entertainment. And they bring this out every 4 years to coincide with the US election cycle. This is both a comical take on the shit show that is the American political system, but also under the hood, it actually is a fairly complex political simulator that takes into a lot of things into account and has a lot of data, and a lot of campaign modeling there that is actually used in the real world. So this is a really interesting one of those sort of, I almost look at it as almost edutainment in this way. For everybody outside of America, this is sort of why would we bother? Or this is a good way to get an insight to how much of a shit show the politics in this country is. But for those here, then this is an interesting way for you to be able to learn more about the political system that you find yourself stuck in if you live here in America. So as I said, I have mixed feelings about this. It comes with a preset scenario based on the current political candidates and the ones who are the leading, most likely nominations for the two parties for their candidacies for this year's election. But it does have a create your own candidate option. So you can set your own candidate things. You can do your own political action points and things like that. So there's a lot going for it. They've learned a lot from the feedback that they got from the release of the 2020 edition, where some things that were taken out of 2016 are now back in to the 2024 edition. They've learned a lot of things. They've put some different game mechanics in here, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out. So if this is something that you are interested in, or even just have a passing interest in learning about American politics, this may be something that you might want to pick up. It's not badly priced. So it comes out for $20 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by following me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.